What am I doing? Oh, I'm trying to get this thing set up. There you go. My broken tripod. And turn. It's working out. Don't worry. We're getting there. Okay. We got it. Ooh. Isn't bright enough. Good day. That's really bright. Let's see. Maybe we can turn it down a little bit. I mean, I don't need to be like illuminated. Ooh. Sound check. Like wrong. Oh, see, it's already low. All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me see. It's still a little bright. You know, I'm just going to turn this down. There you go. Ah, that does better. Still's a little washed, but we'll deal with it. Maybe you can turn down even more. There you go. That's better. I guess. All right, let me go on Instagram Live. See, YouTube, y'all get the first. You get to, you know, see me get ready. Let's see. Yes. Sometimes I see my friend on the internet and I'm just like, I'm glad to know you. And then we go to live. You know, they changed the update on Instagram. It's very confusing, but I got it together. And then we'll put it. And see, that didn't work out the way I thought it would. Do I have enough battery? I do. So start running out of battery. I'll charge it. Happy Friday, everybody. Is it working? Okay. It's working. This is great. Everything is working. Got my water. Yes. So we have some questions today, you guys. Today is the sexual wellness Q&A. And I got a handful of questions, but what I did was I bundled them up into 3 questions so that everybody can get information they need. So if you have any comments or anything while I'm doing this, or you need more clarification on anything, just put it in the chat, in the comments, and we'll get to it. Hello. We on live on both of them. Good day, everybody. Thanks for joining the live. We're going to get to these questions. And the first, I could read it off, but don't really need to. He said, one of the questions was, do you have any advice for PE? And that's like one of the number one questions I get. So we're going to talk about PE. If y'all don't know what PE is, it's premature ejaculation. And it means you come too fast. And too fast is relative, right? Too fast could mean before you want to. That's really what it is. It means that you don't feel like you had control over when you were going to, as they call it, bust. So PE is very common. It's this, I call it the sexual pandemic, because it really is, everybody's dealing with it, you know, and it doesn't even just affect younger ages. It's also affecting, so the biggest thing for me with PE too is it's really important for us to understand what's going on when you are ejaculating too fast. And even as a partner, right? It's not just about your body. You also have to pay attention to your partner. So I've learned, it takes two. It's not just on the person how they're responding. It's also a learning experience. So um, whoever's listening, men, women, we all need to understand how this works, because at one point or another, you're going to deal with it. You're going to be involved with it. So you got to know what to do. All right. Um, the biggest thing with PE is there's a few things going on, and it really depends on the root of it, right? So sometimes it's rooted in stress. Your um, head stress. You're mentally in your head a lot, and so whatever's going on with your body, your sexual response is off because you're not connected. And so we all have this want and this natural ability to be in alignment, to feel at peace and unified with what we're doing. So when you have things like you came too fast, or you're not even getting hard, or for a woman you're not getting wet, all those things come down to a disconnection, right? Your signals are not getting to where you want them to go to do what you want to do. And so at the end of the day, our not to continue to just last long, because that's something that a lot of people say, but you can feel when somebody's struggling to last long, and it don't feel good. So the way that you last long, the way that you stick with it and stay in it is really important. The how, not so much that you can keep going forever. Just because you can keep going forever without ejaculating does not mean that is good sex. It could be abrasive. So the biggest thing is really reconnecting with your sexuality, your sexual energy. And um when we have sex with like new people, or if we're nervous for some reason, which a lot of times happens with new people, like, and I'm telling you this because I've heard stories where my friend, she had some new boo, and they had sex, and he came in like a few seconds, or less than a minute. And but after that, they did it again, and it got better. So that's like, something that we can all realize, that that's just excitement. And a lot of times excitement comes just because you're aroused. You're really horny. Maybe you haven't had any, maybe you just really like this person, you're really attracted to them. And so in the moment where you are excited and you're also engaging or about to especially penetrate, it's important to like woo-saw that energy and that excitement, and not so much, like squelch it. You don't want to dull your fire or like put the fire out. What you want to do is be able to feel the warmth of the fire without, getting burned. And how you do that is you have to practice. And um, I've learned as a woman to help with pacing. I think pacing is the biggest thing when it comes to excitement. So how you like start doing sex, and then you might start slow, and then you start to get excited, or it feels really good, or yeah, you get excited. So you start racing to the finish line. And it's really, most time it's subconscious, but those are the tendencies that get us premature ejaculation. When you get excited and you want to race to the finish line, you don't want the process, you want the reward. And so undoing that mindset of just the reward, the orgasm, to bust a nut, like that's going to that can come easily, especially for men. You guys can come pretty fast with the right stimulation. So it's more about reconnecting with that sexual energy, that flow of it. And I think that the best thing to do is do it with yourself first, because with yourself, you're comfortable. Usually you're comfortable, right? There's nobody, putting any judgments on you except yourself. So those are a lot of times we have those self judgments. We have guilt, we have shame, we have feelings of nastiness, or we have um, just this subconscious rush when it comes to having sex. And we need to undo that so that we can connect back to the process and not to the reward. And that's with everything we do, right? That's with our whole entire lives, is connecting back to the process and not so much racing to the reward. And one of the like really disservice that we have is my next question, which is about porn. But that the way that we can get that instant gratification is really what's screwing us over, because it's like, crack is cheap and you know where to get it and it makes you feel good. You're gonna go keep getting it. Not crack, but you know what I mean, the concept of it. But yeah, porn is like sexual crack. It really is. And it also disconnects us from that sexual experience and our energy and the process of it. And so a lot of times that's what's making a man come fast, is because he does watch a lot of porn, he jacks off, and then you come to a human body that wants an intimate connection, an emotional connection, a mental connection, and he's used to just doing this. Um, and so the experience of sex has to be something that starts from the inside out, not outside in. And outside in is really the norm, because if you think about sex, it's done very performative from what we see. I don't know what y'all doing in private, but usually it's very performative. You know, you want to be hard and strong and make her come, and she wants to be orgasmic and be pleased, so she can also perform that. So a lot of times we have to let go of um, even what like orgasm is supposed to look like, what it's supposed to feel like, because all that is unique to each person's body. Um, so with premature ejaculation, my advice really is to take time to slow down, breathe as you stroke, which is my song coming out in February. It's called Breathe and Stroke, and it's talking about this actually. But you have to connect your breath, which helps you put your mind in order, helps you connect your mind to your body, right? So connect your breath to what you're doing physically and bring that into a flow. Bring those two things together, and then it'll make it easier for you to get into alignment with that experience, which just means you're present with it. You're not up here thinking about something else or distracted or worried about coming too fast. You're not worried about not getting hard. Those are all things that distract you from actually having that sexual experience. And we're very intuitive. We can feel everything. So when your partner is not there mentally, but still going and last along whatever he's doing, it doesn't feel good. It still doesn't feel good. So you might as well slow down and take your time. If you notice that you are getting start racing, and your heart rate starts to race, the breath starts to get faster, those are the moments where you need to woosah that shit. Woosah. And you do it together too. It's not just on the man who has premature ejaculation. It's an experience, right? So we all have to work together and breathe together. Um, and so yeah, it's being engaged with that excitement and the flow of it, because arousal has a flow, right? It has its peaks, it has its troughs, it has its plateaus. And so you need to take your time. We need to take our time, because I'm still learning. I'm still doing the same thing I'm telling you, right now, is to breathe with your experience, but also pay attention to what you're feeling, how it's flowing. If it's crescendoing up, real fast, if it's plateauing, if it's going down. And in those, as you're observing, pay attention to how you feel emotionally, what's going on in your mind. Um, and that will help you to know what to do about it. Whether it's, okay, I need to slow down, or I need to maybe change positions. Maybe I need to do something besides penetration right now. And if you do have, if you struggle with it, like often, like almost every time you have sex, you come faster than you want to, or come faster than she wants you to, then you do want to, I always advise men to, um, how do you say, um, forgot what I was saying, but practice um, connecting with um, how you feel as you're actually feeling sensation, because sensation is what we think we're really getting when we have sex, but really it's that mental thing that's going on. Like the orgasm happens in the brain. That's why people who are paralyzed from like the waist down, they can still have orgasm. So it's something that happens in our brain, based off of stimulating certain erogenous zones, nerves, and these nerves are like we're made for pleasure. So when you touch us, we feel pleasure. And with premature ejaculation, there could be like nerves are excited, they like you touch them, you just blow on them, just like, that shit was great, So for those kind of things, we want you can just pay attention to your touch. This is with yourself as well, is like slow it down and connect yourself with how it feels to feel, right? Because a lot of times if you just reserve this practice for when you have sex with somebody, then it's going to be a lot more trial and error. And but versus if you come from a place of already knowing yourself and understanding yourself, how your body works, then when you go into these experiences, it's already more grounded. It's when you feel whole and you feel in alignment and confident, that makes the whole experience a lot more full and also makes you more attractive. So if you want to, get her juices flowing and um, really do it, then confidence is really important, but you can't fake it, right? You gotta practice that and get to know your body. And then when you have those times where you are rushing, you find yourself just going for the goal, breathe, right? It's very similar to long distance racing. If you guys done cross country, I did cross country in like junior high, and my asthma was too bad, so I quit. But I did like track after that. But anyways, with long distance racing, you have to pace yourself because you know that if you go fast and hard, you're going to burn out sooner. So it's the same thing, with our experiences. It's we need to pace ourselves and take time to experience different each place, each moment in the experience too. The beginning, the middle, you know, the little like intermission, whatever's going on, you need to experience all of it. So if you guys have any more questions on PE, put them in the chat or in the comments. Let me look at this. Interesting. Hi. Let me say hi to all my people on Instagram. Thanks for showing up. See, when will you be talking about sexual energy with women and feeling blocked? That is the last question. So stay with me. We're going to definitely talk about that. I'm going to touch on just one facet of that too, because there's a lot to go on with that, right? But that's our third question. So we only have one more question before that. The next one is about porn. So it just also relates to what we were just talking about, because a lot of men suffer from premature ejaculation because of their porn habits. And I say porn habits, not porn addiction, because if you think of why you watch porn a lot or why you masturbate to porn a lot, there's really a compulsion there that is meeting the need for something else, right? So you could be bored, you could be lonely, you could be horny, you could be a lot of things, right? And so in place of what would actually meet, that root need, you put porn, and it's so easy, it's so accessible. So that's something that I said, it's a disservice because it's so easy to just throw you off your track. So the thing with porn, y'all, is it creates a relationship in your brain. We talked about oxytocin in the one video I did when, we're talking about the massaging your lymph nodes and breast massage and stuff. So oxytocin is our bonding hormone. When we hug, when we touch, when we do all that, that's when we are creating. We're releasing oxytocin, and it's telling our brain, I like this. I'm bonding. I'm creating a relationship with this. And so, especially if you're doing a lot more porn than actual sex with humans, then you create a stronger loyalty to this porn. So when you do kind of try to have a relationship with a human, it's hard. It's hard to connect the same way because your body wants it, maybe your heart wants it too, but your brain is like, where is my screen and all those noises I like and all that nasty shit? Like, where is it? So that's we absorb information and visuals all day, and it becomes a part of us. That's why I say we ingest. We're eating all these frequencies, all these energies, and it's transforming, metabolizing in our bodies and creating who we are. So when you're consuming a lot of this artificial experience, but at the same time bonding with it because that's what we're able to do, then that's what's happening. You have to realize you're creating a relationship with this instead of what you want, which is this, humans, right? Um, and when we're watching something outside too, it takes us outside of our experience. Like if I was going to be having sex with you and watching the TV, would you feel like I was with you? Would you feel like I was enjoying it? Like, no. And you're having sex with yourself watching TV. So what's up? Right. And so with porn, to wean yourself off of it, I would advise, and this comes from experience, I've done it myself, is to reconnect with what you're feeling with the experience of sexual pleasure. So I don't say stop jacking off. That's not really realistic. But if we can say, okay, let's change this approach to our sexual experience, um, and reconnect your heart, your mind, and your body with your sexual experience instead of it just being a mental thing that you do or you watch outside of you. So don't do it, right? You're not going to watch it, but I want you to really think about why you watch it, how you feel afterwards, how you feel about the fact that you watch it, how you feel about having most of your sex with it. So think about those things and really like sit with it. And next time you feel the impulse to do it, you're probably going to give in at first, but do that. But then again, ask yourself, how do you feel about it? How do you feel while you're doing it? How do you feel about not having enough, self-control to not do it this time? So allowing that conviction or those negative feelings that you feel, you do something that you don't want to do or you don't like, allow those feelings to motivate you, and you have to let them sink in. You really got to let them sink because it works, and it will help you on the next time you feel that twitch to do it, or you feel that idea like, oh, let me go watch porn. Then it's like you're going to reconnect also with how you feel about that because you've been practicing doing that. So it's all about practice. And I made a few videos about it on my YouTube, so you guys go watch that. We did a really good video with Carlton and Samaya. We talked about a lot. It was like an hour-long video, but it was really good talking about the habits that, our relationship with it. And I used to watch porn, especially, in your single times, your single years, you watch a lot more than you would if you weren't, usually. But for me, it was, I understood what I was getting out of it once I evaluated myself and like asked the same questions that I just told you guys to ask yourself. And it really helped me to, once I was like, oh, I'm bored, or, I'm lonely, let me go jack off. And I'll be like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll think about like what I'm going to look up, and I'm like, it just, my taste goes away. So your tastes change, right? If I showed you a bunch of videos of worms coming out of strawberries, like Sharice told me to watch, then you probably won't eat strawberries anymore. So use that for your advantage, really ruminate on how you feel about that habit, and that'll help you to undo that relationship with it, because you know intuitively that it's not good for you, it's not what you want. And over time, it changes your brain. It actually like changes the chemistry of your brain. They've done studies where it showed the moral center in your brain deteriorates when you watch a lot of porn. So it's like morality is lost when you continue to engage in like these things. Most of porn is basura. You guys know that. Most of it is basura. There's some, nice artful stuff out there. But for the most part, I don't like what I see, how they treat women. And I don't like how the miseducation that it gives you about how sex works, how it looks, how it sounds, how vaginas look. Like porn vaginas mostly don't look like, everybody else's vagina. They're doctored, it's not real. A lot of things that we create standards out of are just not real. So let's get to question number 3. Let me see. Pop cut me off. Fourth spiritual journey. Okay. Hello. What's up, Bethel? All right. The third question. Third question was about. Let me see what the question was. What she asked, because we were talking about vaginal numbness. Yeah, sexual blockages. So now we're going to bring it to the women's. So everybody needs to listen to this as well. But let's talk about numb vaginas. I know in the past that I was having sex and not feeling a lot and didn't really know that there was anything wrong with that or that wasn't normal. And it made like sex was to me, the fulfillment came from like he had a good time and I had a good time from like feeling the intimacy. But it took me, a while to realize that I wasn't feeling a lot. And a lot of it comes from emotional energy, right? We have memories, we have trauma, we have sexual trauma, molestation, rape, all those things are real. And women hold that energy, they hold those emotions, those memories in their bodies. And energy work has really helped me to transform that. So let's say just for instance of releasing emotional energy. And you can do that with sexual pleasure. Um, you can do that with just breathing. You can do that with a lot of things. But for me, it's been a lot of meditation, sexual practice with meditation, and then also just like breathing and releasing emotional energy. So I'm talking about like crying, like bawling, crying, like y'all need to cry. Those tears are coming from our vaginas. They're coming from our whole body. And when you release that emotional energy, like you'll feel a difference in your body. And it's not, just right away because we're like onions, there's layers. But the emotional energy that we hold can really block sensation. So sensation is nerves, right? We're talking about nerve endings before. And the vagina got a lot of nerve endings. Let me see. Here's my vagina. I was using this the other day. Vagina. But what was I going to use this for? I need it later. The vagina has a lot of nerve endings, and those nerve endings can become blocked. They become blocked from dissociation. So let's say we have a trauma. It could be one event, it could be multiple events, it could be just something verbal, but we have trauma that changes how we perceive. It changes our sense of safety. And whenever your sense of safety is jeopardized, your vagina reacts. Your it's your life force, right? Your life center. So to protect that, it reacts. And a lot of that can be experienced as tension. It could be experienced as numbness. Um, when we have like things that happen that violate us or, you know, make us feel like we have to protect ourselves, that protection happens on a cellular level. It happens on a mental level, an emotional level. So blocking out your heart from really loving somebody, blocking out the penis from really penetrating you, blocking out that whole experience from getting too deep because you've built up these walls because you feel the need to protect. And that's it's natural. Like we all do it in, different ways. But when when we want to feel more, when we want to awaken our vagina again and bring some more sensation, it takes full body energy work. It takes you really sitting with those emotions, um, meditating with them, breathing that emotional energy out, and then also using sexual stimulation to get to understand what your patterns are. Like we're talking about patterns with the men's bodies. It's the same thing. So as you're experiencing these things, we have to pay attention to how our body's reacting. Um, Emotionally what we're feeling. A lot of times you'll start to want to cry or you'll feel angry or you'll feel disgust. Like a random emotion, or a negative emotion will come up while you're being penetrated or while you're about to. And that's it's telling, letting you know that your body is connecting the sexual experience with something negative. And it doesn't have to be conscious. There's nothing that we actually like, oh, I know, like back when I was 3, this happened. A lot of times we're not going to remember or be able to recall, the roots of everything, and that's not really important. The important part is connecting with it in an honest and genuine way and being able to release it. And releasing is really not pushing out. Releasing is actually bringing it in. It's creating inner space for whatever the emotion is. So by creating space and not judging yourself or not trying to distract yourself or shut off that negative emotion, it feels safer, like you want to feel, right? It feels more like it doesn't have to fight anymore. It's no longer in defense mode. And we have to do that for, our full selves. So let me see. Do you support what? Sorry. I got a random question on YouTube. It said, do I support Boko Haram? That's really random. I think that's the obvious no. But let me see. You got some questions in here. I'm a monk waiting to be a straight spiritual super freak when the chains come off. Oh, that sounds like a commitment. It does. Um, if y'all want to be a super guru, you might have to go celibate for a yard. You mean for a year? Let's talk about celibacy too. But let me wrap up this question about our bodies, because I think it's really important too, for us to, just like I was saying, practice in your own safety with yourself and recognize what you're feeling and how your body's reacting while you're experiencing pleasure. And then, when you're doing it with your partners, it's the same thing. Like, they have the ability to hold space for you, so that now it's not just you holding space for yourself, but now you have somebody else in that experience with you, and it just expands it. Makes you feel more loved, more grounded. And so it's important for men to also be very vulnerable when it comes to sex with their partners, so that it can be like something genuine, like something real. It can't be real if I'm, being vulnerable and you have like this wall up, you're, playing a role, or you just, yeah, it has to go both ways. So honest experience is not going to be always like the most orgasmic, but an honest experience, I feel like, is the most fulfilling, because you get something out of it. Right? You learn something out of an honest experience. Onions 100. Okay, stop acting like you don't know me, Miss Lady. Let me see. You know what? You gotta give me your real name. I think I do, but I can't recall right now. But from your comment, I think I do know you. But last question we'll do, since we're talking about it, is celibacy. I wasn't planning on talking about celibacy because I ain't got no plans on being celibate. I'm the wrong one. But it does have its discipline. Celibacy is discipline, and its mouth is dry. Celibacy can be really like balancing if you are sexually imbalanced. You've been spending a lot of your your male sexual energy, ejaculating, then that can drain you. It actually deplete your health. And so if you're going to, do celibacy, that could actually recharge you. So a lot of guys that have had porn addiction and have ejaculated a lot each day, they will be celibate for a while to build their energy back up. And it's a really healthy thing to do, because your body always needs time to restore. It needs time to recharge and get its cycles balanced. Everything has a process, has like little factories and systems in our bodies that are always working. But certain systems get overworked. Certain systems can, just shut down. And, one of those systems is your sexual energy. Like, you guys experience it every time you come. You shut down as soon as you ejaculate. So, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, you're going to get spammed because you keep talking about Boko Haram, and I think that we all know that this is not the place. Anyways, I don't have time for this. Huh. But celibacy is also a good way to connect spiritually because sex is such a temptation, you know. It's just like you say, you can create a compulsion and addiction to it. So it's one of those things that give us a dopamine hit. Food, um, sex, drugs, things that give us like an adrenaline rush. All those dopamine hits have the potential to take over. And so it takes mindfulness and, real self-control to not succumb to those things. And people have different addiction tendencies. Addiction tendency meaning like you are more prone to get stuck on something than others. And sugar too, exactly right. That was my thing. Like I've done so good with sugar, you guys. Oh my god, I feel so good about myself. I have a sweet tooth, and I've done really well with sugar this whole month. And yeah, so and what I did with sugar was I just thought about the how it makes me feel or the aftermath of the sugar. And yeah, I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with that. I'll go have a pomegranate. And the pomegranate was juicy and it was good. And I was satisfied. Need sugar in my coffee. I drink black coffee, actually. If I drink coffee, I like all kinds of coffee, but black coffee is like my go-to. Um, Tantra Windy City, hello. Does overstimulation of the clit affect the same way as far as side effects? Overstimulation of the clit makes it numb. It makes it does two things, right? So when you overstimulate, let's say, are you talking about the toy? Because toys are different. So if we're talking about a toy, you see objects? With like a toy, penises bodies don't vibrate, so our bodies get this bar set so high that we can't even jump over because we can't vibrate. So sensation from vibration can definitely numb you to regular natural stimulation. So the way that you can change that also is to turn down your vibe. If you're using it up on high, turn it down, and then also stop using it or use it for a little bit. Gradually start using less and less. It's not a big deal, honestly. Like your clit can be resensitized unless you've really just been beating her up. But usually it's nerve endings. They can grow back. They can become resensitized. Clitoral orgasms. Coming too fast. Yeah, a clitoris can become oversensitive. Yeah, it can. I actually had a it was my friend. Yeah, my friend was telling me that happened to her. So clitorises are like little penises, and they can become how do you very sensitive. So a lot of times I have to do also with the hood or no hood. So you have a hood, a clitoral hood. It's has like a skin of protection over it. If you have no hood or less of a hood and she's just out there, then she can be really, sensitive. But sensitive also could mean that you could stimulate her to, orgasm, but then also irritated, right? So we don't want irritated clitorises. See, is there a big difference between cane and regular big? Is there a big difference between cane and regular white sugar? Um, Cane sugar is like raw, and white sugar is processed. I mean, it's sugar, you know. Sugar is sugar, but yeah, cane sugar is just raw. And think of like the juice. So you take the cane plant, the sugar cane, and then they juice it, and then they heat up that juice. Cook it down, reduce it, and then let it dry and break it up. It's crystallized. So that's all cane sugar is. White sugar goes through another process, which is why it's bleached. And yeah, so I guess if you're gonna choose, you would choose cane. What's bad about sugar? Diabetes. Sugar is well, first of all, it's like cocaine, just dietary cocaine. It creates addiction in the brain. It creates acidosis in your body, which is a petri dish for disease. It can mess up your circulation. If you have too much concentration sugar in your blood, then it's going to mess up your circulation. You've seen people with diabetes who have amputations or necrosis, and it's just not a thing, nothing you want to get to. But everything is, I wouldn't say is bad. Everything has good and bad. So it's all about moderation and also how you feel about it when you take it in. I always tell people a good diet is one that you feel good about. If you are, eating salad and rabbit food every day and hating yourself and what you're eating, then I wouldn't say that's healthy. Um, you should not put more focus on the Nigerian government and less on. You should put more focus and less. Oh, okay. YouTube is doing some other thing right now. I wish you guys could see it. What's going on, YouTube? Have y'all been to my channel before? Do you know what this is? This is not a political channel. All right. Moderation. Yes, yes. Everything in moderation. Okay. So we should just stop this chat. I'm gonna just like ignore it. So you guys, any more questions? We're going to head out to the living room and relax. But it was a good live. Hope you guys got the answers you needed or got some more extra information. You got something useful. And I hope I covered, all the questions and all these things. So if you have any more questions, then put them in the comments so I can get to them later. Tomorrow I'm going to be in Irvine for the pop-up. And I know there's a curfew, but I'm only going to be there from 1 to 4. So you can come. And we'll be right in front of the food truck. We'll have body butters. You can try them out. And then I'm going to do 2 blessed as well. So Carlton's going to help me. I have to call him actually because I don't know how we're going to do these mics, but we'll figure it out. And I'm actually going to go practice because I have not done a live performance in a long time, like 2 months or something. So that's what we're doing, fam. I have an announcement as well. I just put a new product on the store. I have gift boxes. So the Green Body gift boxes are up on the store, greenbodywellness.com, and they're really good. Danilo got a gift box and he loves it. It has body butters in it. It has incense in it. It has meditation in it. So it's like a full holistic gift. I put something in there that stimulates each of your senses. So that's on my website, y'all. You can support me. You can show some love by buying my shit. All right. All right. Bye. Have a good night. Am I still coaching? I'm not coaching until 2021. So not right now. I am on hold. But I'll be back in 2021 and I'll be happy to help you guys out personally, one-on-one or in groups. But until then, I'm just here to give you free information and advice and answer your questions. And that's how I show love. My language of love is acts of service. And so I apply that to my work as well. And so this is how I do acts of service. Answer your questions for free because I want you to have better relationships. And I want us to be happy and whole and abundant and healthy and be able to deal with the times when we're not, Love you guys. Leave with love. Take care of yourself. Go meditate. And go to greenbodywellness.com. All right. Bye.